Gears of War 1, it holds a special place, and it was the start of something special. A lot of the games at the time were run and gun, this idea of the first-person shooter where you can strafe and dodge bullets. So this idea of being reliant on cover was this idea of pop and stop. You have to stop and pop up and shoot, like you have to kind of move yourself between cover and cover. Gears is a feel. How does it feel to go into cover? How does it feel to pop up and shoot? How does it feel like to chainsaw? Like, that's one of the things that was really focused on.
I believe at one point we even said that we're not attempting to fix gameplay, gonna give the player the experience that they remember. Then we started thinking about that more and more, and the game is 9 years old. People expect different things from games today than they did back then.
What you're trying to do is tap into the nostalgia, but with all the positives. It's finding the negatives of the nostalgia and trying to sand them down is really what we're trying to do, as opposed to changing the game fundamentally. It's meant to be, hey, it feels like Gears of War 1, but without the messy parts.
So the initial months of this project, there was a lot of research. Pretty early on in the project, we had a playtest organized with a bunch of players from the community.
I think it's really important that gameplay still feels the same, like to a T. Who knows that better than the players themselves? We brought out a group of professional players to test the game, and took down their feedback, recorded their gameplay, interviewed them, and got some great perspective on what the game feels like. Does it feel like that original Gears of War 1 experience?
Getting back to the roots of Gears of War was just really nostalgic for me. Playing in those environments again, ripping the sweet headshots and the guns felt really good.
Right.
So, getting back on some of those classic maps with the revised mechanics that came from some of the future titles, it's just an awesome package.
I think that the vets are going to really appreciate it and come back to the game. For the new players, I hope that they see this game and like, wow. Kind of like wow, like I was when I first started playing.
You can play Gears of War 1 with dedicated servers. You can play 60 FPS on a 1080p screen. And the way that we can add all the modes that we wanted to have back in, and getting something like Team Deathmatch into Gears of War 1. Team Deathmatch is the most popular way to play Gears, but it didn't exist back in Gears of War 1. So to be able to do it on the Xbox One version is great, because it allows you to, it's a friendlier way to play.
If you're used to playing Gears of War 3 and it's really smooth, it can bounce around, it just flows from cover to cover. You go back and play Gears of War 1, that's not really how it works. It's easy to get snagged or like piece of collision or just getting stuck in cover.
Cover is evolved from 1, 2, and 3. There's certain things you have to do to make those types of improvements where it feels like it's current gen, or you don't want to feel like, oh wow, I went from Gears 3 and stepped all the way back. But things like, oh, I don't get stuck as often, and oh, the controls work the way I expect them to, that makes total sense. We had to go and look at, okay, selectively and surgically, what are the right improvements to bring back so that we gain those advantages and those learnings from Gears of War 3, but we don't lose the feel of Gears of War 1. And I think we've really done that.
The first time I think where we actually had a 4 versus 4 match and we played it and it just felt really good all of a sudden. It's like, holy shit. And then afterwards when I looked at performance stats and it was just steady 60, and that's where you just feel like, holy smokes, this feels so nice. And yeah, it'll be something I won't forget.
Did you see that?